Grail, welcome back to South Africa, and this is South African Prepper. As you can see, we have got a extremely hot summer that has started in South Africa. So, a few days ago, we had the sabotage of the gas pipeline to Europe. Now, I do believe that this was done by the West, either Britain or America, and this is basically the strategy behind this, I believe, is to make sure that Europe actually goes into a depression. Well, the steps are recession and then a depression. So the Europeans are going into winter now, as South Africa is going into summer, and greater than the Great Depression is upon us, I do believe. Europe is going to go through an extremely hard time generating power, generating heat for the winter coming, and with that, the production of food. So, greater than a Great Depression, I do believe, is coming our way very soon. And then the second prediction I want to make is that we are extremely close to a nuclear war in Europe. As you know, that Russia has done a referendum, and they've decided that 3 or 4 areas in Ukraine now belongs to them, and they have incorporated these areas into Russia. They are starting to talk about Mother Russia. Now, if you know anything about the Russians, once they start to talk about Mother Russia, then you know they're going to take out the big guns. So I do believe the gas pipeline was a sabotage action by the West. You will also notice that the pound came tumbling down 2 days ago. It's still busy going down. So the pound at this stage is not doing too well. And this is because of the gas pipeline attack. So I want to quickly talk to you about two things. Number one is preparing, okay, short term. So when we're talking about preparing short term, that is the dry foods and the vacuum seal foods and Milo bag foods that you guys are storing up. That is called short term prepping, okay? So that's anything from 1 month up until 2 or 3 years of food storage that you need to prep in order to survive the greater than the Great Depression that is coming our way. And then after that, you actually need to be able to produce your own food. Now, in the Great Depression, there's a lot of stories of people reusing things. Okay, there's an old joke. You will very soon learn why the old people cleaned foil and use it for a second and a third time, and why old people used to keep their food scraps and make compost out of it. So you have to be preparing in two different ways. Short term, which is your dry food storage, and then long term, and that is the production of food. Okay, whether it is planting vegetables, whether it is storing long term water, whether it is looking after livestock like chickens, goats, sheep, and cattle. So you cannot just rely on your short term storage. Okay, those canned goods, the stored up rice and the dry beans, okay, it's only going to last you that long. That's why you have to look at long term production. And you can only do long term production within a safe area. Okay, so the whole lone wolf mentality is not going to work. Come the greater than the Great Depression, it's not going to work. You're going to have to go to an area that is safer than your current area. You're going to probably have to regroup with a whole lot of people, and you're going to have to start producing for the long term. And that is the only way that we, as a minorities in South Africa, will actually survive. Believe me, every single city and every little small town in the country in South Africa is surrounded by informal settlements. Okay, and once these informal settlement people, the poorest of the poor in South Africa, become really, really desperate, they will go into the cities and the towns, and they will do what they did in KZN in 2021. They will loot and they will burn until everything and nothing is left. And that is why us as a minority in South Africa, you cannot. If your strategy is to stay in the cities, good luck. I hope you've got a few million rounds of ammo, and I hope you've got 2 to 3 years worth of food and water stored up in your house, because you're going to have to survive for an extremely long time. This is South African Prepper. God bless.